he was supposed to work with my dad at some point. It's something that they had decided together. And then he had this story in his head, which was a father and son story. And this was unfortunately right around the time. It was around 4 months after Aditya Varma had released, I think. That fear and that intimidation is what sort of motivated me and drove me, because I knew that this was something that I would have to do my best and I would have to pull off. So I knew that these things were always going to be there. I anticipated that it was going to be, scary and nerve wracking working with him.
Welcome to Pinkula. It's lovely having you here.
Thank you so much. It's an honor.
And congratulations on the trailer. The film is all gearing up for a release soon. So congratulations on that.
Thank you so much.
So firstly, could you tell us something about the world of Mahan as to what exactly is the film all about? The trailer is creating intrigue with multiple plot points being showcased in it. So yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So at least from what you can see in the trailer, I can say that this film is about the journey of one man, whose name is Mahan, and he is someone that at some point in his life, he plays a big part in creating this sort of liquor empire, and it's his journey and it's where his life takes him, professionally, emotionally, his it's I would say it's an emotional family drama about thriller. Yeah, I don't think I can say too much at this point of it. That's why I'm being very cryptic.
Yeah, of course. I mean, that's what thrillers are all about. You discover things through the film, basically.
Yes. I would want for you to not know that much, because when you see it, I feel like that would be more impactful.
How did you first react when Karthik Subburaj came with this story to you?
Oh, it was something that I didn't believe that would ever happen in my life. It is one of those things that I would have never even dreamt of. It's not even, I wouldn't even call it a dream come true, because this is not something I ever anticipated or imagined. And I've always been a very big fan of Karthik Subbaraj, which I think I've said everyone knows. And this is not because I've worked with him. It's genuinely because I've adored his work ever since a very young age. And he's played a very big part in, my interest in cinema and, wanting to be a filmmaker one day. It all started somewhere, I feel like, with Karthik Subbaraj. And that being said, from a very young age, I'd always hoped and wished that my dad and him would work together. I always begged my dad for that. So when this happened, it was just like, wow, unreal. And somewhere I felt like it was so unbelievable. It happened right. We announced it right before the first wave of lockdown. So
Yeah.
at some point in those months of just sitting at home, I didn't even think it would happen ever.
But like when he came with the script, was it always with you and Vikram sir in mind? And was it a joint narration first, or was it like what was the process like for
So
that to get?
he was supposed to work with my dad at some point. It's something that they had decided together. And then he had this story in his head, which was a father and son story. And this was unfortunately right around the time. It was around 4 months after Aditya Varma had released, I think. So it was right around the time when I had also just started acting. And I think I don't think he had seen the film yet, but I think his crew told him that I may have done like a pretty decent job. So he was like, okay, maybe the son can also act. And then when he came to us with this one line concept, he came home in May and he told my dad and I together. My dad and I were immediately very excited, very pumped about doing it. And, it was just, yeah, rest is history.
And how was it working with your dad on the sets? Were you intimidated at any point of time? Like how was that equation like when the two of you were shooting?
I think naturally there was a certain level of intimidation. But I think that being said, that fear and that intimidation is what sort of motivated me and drove me, because I knew that this was something that I would have to do my best and I would have to pull off. So I knew that these things were always going to be there. I anticipated that it was going to be, scary and nerve wracking working with him. And I sort of just tried my best to channel that fear, channel that nervousness into this character. Yeah.
Okay. But usually these combos happen in the later stage of the career. For you, it's happening right after the first film.
Yeah.
How does that, like, do you think, like, how do you feel about that aspect as such, working with your father in just your second film?
See, what I see, this is where I think that, like, I don't see this as my second film or my film or a double hero subject or a father son film in any way. I see this as my dad's 60th movie and me playing a very important part in that. So regardless of whatever point of time it had come to me in my career, I feel like I would have done it at any time, because as a character and as a film, I felt like it would be a great opportunity for me to sort of, play this very different character and who's not like me at all, who hopefully won't be like any of the other characters I play for the rest of my life. He's very author-backed, very well written, very layered. And that is what sort of drove me to it. So I feel like at some point of time, yes, it is my second film and it is very soon. But at some point of time, I just got so involved in the process of this movie and the story and this world that the director had created that we really just tried to live through that. That's what I really, yeah.
And your first film and the second film both are more in the intense space of film. Is that a genre that fascinates you, the intense characters and the intense space?
I've not come across anything light-hearted or young or romantic yet, and I would love to do that. So I have no aversion toward that, and I have no inclination towards doing roles like this. It's just how things have fallen into place for some reason.
Hmm.
But yeah, playing intense characters is always fun because you really get to explore a mind and a soul that you would normally never in real life. I would never even interact with a person like Dada. To sort of play him was, it was a very empowering experience. That was my biggest takeaway. I felt very empowered by the end of it, where I was like, okay, there is something about this guy. There are some things that I should learn from him. There are some things that I should not, but I understood him. I sort
Hmm.
of empathized, and I felt like at one point, like, yeah, I liked playing him. I really thoroughly enjoyed playing. Yeah.
Correct. So, what are the kinds of films that you want to associate yourself with going forwards, and what are the kinds of film that you have grown up watching?
I've grown up watching pretty much everything. I mean, all Indian language movies I've watched. I've watched like a lot of films. I have no idea yet as to what exactly I want to do. I just know that I would want to do challenging and very interesting characters, and I would want to do good stories. Good stories. Yeah, that's my main thing for now.
Correct. But there's no wish list of exploring a particular genre. It's all dependent on the script.
I would love to do I would love to do like a very unorthodox, different kind of love story. I would love to do maybe, if something ever came along like a Joker from The Dark Knight or Bane from The Dark Knight Rises. Like I also feel like that spectrum is something I would really love to play because I like movies like that in general. I like
Correct.
characters like that. So yeah, it's these two things.
And last couple of questions. What next for you after Mahan?
Right now, I don't have anything planned yet. Yeah, like I said, I'm not thinking beyond tonight or tomorrow. I'm just sort of, just living in the moment, waiting to see what happens. So yeah, nothing planned as of now.
And lastly, what according to you would be the biggest takeaway from Mahan for the audience?
Yeah, that's actually what I'm very curious to see also. Right now I have no idea. I have absolutely no idea how it's going to be. So I think my biggest takeaway right now from
Hmm.
what I'm feeling right now is that I'm just like extremely curious to see how this film is received and how they resonate with this world and these characters that my directors built.
Thank you so much. It was lovely talking to you, and wish you all the best for the release and all the films that you do going forward.
So it was lovely.
Thanks.
It was lovely talking to you.